Virgo Sun and Moon, and welcome to your 2022 yearly reading. This is my group. I am also a Virgo Sun and Rising. So today we're going to break down your 2022 and see what it has in store for you and me as well. So this is a reading I did on myself for my birthday, just to get an idea of my year ahead, kind of what it was going to happen, what it looked like, what the big theme was. So here's how this reading will work. We'll start with an Archetypes card in order to get our theme for 2022, that big picture. And then we'll break down the year into 4 different parts. We'll get a tarot card for each quarter, and then we'll get an animal spirit deck to clarify that tarot card. This reading I also call the Wild Unknown reading because all 3 of these decks are by Kim Krans from her Wild Unknown series. So let us get started with our Archetypes card here. Okay, Virgo. So Archetypes deck, please give me the theme card for Virgo for 2022. Theme card for Virgo for 2022. 1 card, please. We'll take that top card here, the Siren. The Siren. Okay. Okay, Virgo. So with the Siren card, it feels like this year we're going into the tempting, the sensual, the a little forbidden, kind of that forbidden fruit energy a little bit. There's a call to something deeper here, right? So the Siren, we have this mermaid tail here, so that's the deeper call into the ocean, into the depths. So depths of our psyche, depths of our psychic abilities, our intuition, and here heeding this call. So there's some deeper call for us in 2022 here, Virgos, that's that we can't ignore anymore. We have a bigger picture, bigger call, bigger duty, something that's been in the back of our minds that we can't quite let go of. So it's calling us, tempting us, moving us in a different new direction, calling us to go down into the depths of a cave, into the depths of the ocean, diving really far deep into ourselves and answering this call, right? This temptation of something else, something more. So let us see what it looks like here, what's going to end up happening by breaking down the year a little bit. So we'll see how this theme emerges throughout the cards here. Okay. So now we'll start with our tarot here. We'll get our first card. Okay, Wild Unknown Tarot, please give me the first quarter card for Virgos for 2022. Oop, that was fast. Like this. 4 of Pentacles, okay. Now we'll get our clarifying card. Okay, Animal Spirit deck, please give me the clarifying card for the 4 of Pentacles upright for Virgo for 2022, first quarter. Clarifying card for 4 of Pentacles, please. Almost. Got some thoughts here, so 4, take this one, the Swan. Okay, some more water energy here for sure. So let's take a look at this. Okay, Virgo, so for our first quarter here, right, we've got our 4 of Pentacles in the upright, clarified by the Swan. So we definitely got that more a water energy, kind of talking with the Siren here. The 4 of Pentacles, it talks about material success usually for being a Pentacle sign, but it is generally depicted as a man holding a coin with one kind of as a crown, one at his feet, and 2 by his side. No, one holding one at his feet and 2 by his side. So he is clinging to what he has. He's ends up kind of possessive. So the 4 of Pentacles is asking us to not stand in the way of change, what the Siren's calling us to do, right? It's 4 of Pentacles is telling us, hey, listen to the Siren voice that you're hearing, the Siren sound. And that's what the Swan talks about too, right? The Swan has that beauty, that temptation as well, that sensuality, that kind of mystic energy that's mirrored in the Siren card here, and that call forward into something new, something kind of divine and mysterious and tempting. So we'll definitely see the energy very early on from the Siren in the first quarter here of the year, so January, February, March. It'll show up very, very soon, where you'll that might be a new job, potentially, a new opportunity, new career field, new relationship, something new in your life that you weren't expecting, something you hadn't seen before that's calling you deeper, calling you out, calling you into this whole other realm, this whole other universe and thought process and reality. So let's see what else here. I'm being called to kind of look at the same coloring here, right? So we see this kind of pink coloring in these two pentacles here, mirrored in this part of the card here for our theme card. And then this blue, yellow, green is mirrored in the top and the bottom of the swan card here, right? So already it's this swan energy, Swan energy and Siren energy is pulling heavily into this Four of Pentacles, right? So not being that resistant to the change that's happening, this call that your temptation that you're hearing, and let things change. Don't be possessive of the situation. Just let it flow, right? That's that water energy in the Swan as well, to let it flow. It's mirroring energy back to you. So you want to make sure the energy you are putting forth here is the right kind of energy. So we see this mirroring here as well, right? So mirroring in the Pentacles here and then mirroring in the Swan. So make sure what you're mirroring is what you actually want to be. Make sure that that energy is positive, because it's going to get mirrored back to you. If you are in a negative mindset, a victim mentality, any of those kinds of mindsets, it's going to get mirrored back to you, and you're just going to get that same energy back, right? So make sure to really watch your energy here in the beginning of the year and listen to the siren song that you have in your hearts and your soul, that's calling you forward into something new, okay? So let us see now how this progresses into the second quarter. So, okay, Wild Unknown Tarot, please give me the second quarter card for Virgo for 2022. That is towards that. We have the Eight of Wands. Okay. Please give me the clarification card for the Eight of Wands, or that is the Eight of Wands, right? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. Hold on. Pretty sure it's the 8. Let me double check real quick. Wands, Wands, Wands. Yes, the Eight of Wands. Okay, so Animal Spirit deck, please give me the clarifying card for the Eight of Wands for the second quarter of Virgo's 2022. Clarification for, oh, thank you. Ooh, the Horse. This has not come out yet for me in any readings I've done, so I'm really curious to look into it more. Okay, let's see the second quarter here. Okay, Virgos, in our second quarter here, we're definitely have made a change, it feels like. So whatever this siren call is for our 2022, we are trying to not change too much. We're trying to not be possessive of it, but we haven't let anything happen in our first quarter here. The second quarter, this is April, May, June here, right? We're actually moving forward in it. So you're riding that horse forward momentum, forward movement. And this Eight of Wands is representative of a sudden change, that change in pace, a sudden transformation, kind of being struck by lightning here, right? So whatever we maybe have discovered, what the siren's calling to us, we have discovered that song, and we've come to this big realization here as we've moved forward towards the siren, or we've discovered the siren and are now moving forward with what we've learned in this situation here. So it could just be something very, very important that we've learned. In this case, an important message. It could be something from a friend that you've heard from, somebody you haven't heard from a long time, something that's all of a sudden come forth and changed everything very rapidly for us, right? And moving forward in this horse energy at the same time. Very steady, determined energy for both here, right? So there's a lot of strong wands here, so that's a very stable card. And then the horse, in addition, being an earth element in this deck, is also very stable energy, moving forward at a very even pace with a lot of momentum, even keel, and being very strong as it's moving through, right? So it's kind of this chariot energy. The horse in the Wild Unknown Tarot is actually the chariot in the Wild Unknown Tarot is a horse. So that's kind of that same energy I'm getting from this card, with that forward momentum, that moving forward and progressing through with this realization that we've come to as we're progressing into the year, right? So if we haven't already figured it out earlier on, we come to realize it probably in the second quarter here is what it seems like. But just a lot of expansion here, a lot of forward momentum, a lot of energy pushing us into this next quarter here. So yeah, struck by lightning, moving forward on the horse, lots of energy moving forward into the second half of our 2022 here. So let us look at our third quarter now. Okay. Odd Unknown Tarot, please give me the third quarter card for Virgo for 2022. Third quarter card. Oh, okay. There we go. Ooh, okay. Got a little bit of a roadblock, it seems like. A little bit of a stumbling block. But let us clarify with our animal spirit. Okay, Animal Spirit, please give me clarification on the Five of Pentacles for Virgo for third quarter in 2022. Thank you. The bee. Bee. Okay. So Virgos, as we move into this third quarter here, it definitely feels like we hit a bit of a stumbling block here. The Five of Pentacles, it's a card of worry, and a card of like potential loss and instability, depending on the situation, right? So it feels like with the bee clarifying here that we ended up overworking ourselves, right? We did a little bit too much worker bee energy here. We did a little too much work and tired ourselves out a lot. And without us getting enough sleep and enough rest, enough water, enough food, you end up really easily into this Five of Pentacles energy with a lot of worry. You could be not doing as well in work because you're so tired, because you've been overworking yourself in whatever the siren song call is, right? This other bigger picture, temptational meaning in your life, other project or whatever it is. You've been burning the candle at both ends with this overworker bee energy, right? And then because of that, we end up kind of in this Five of Pentacles with instability and loss and a shaky kind of foundation here, right? So good news for this, right, is that we always have free will. We have choice in every decision and in every matter. So we can mitigate this. This is just the energy I'm reading right now in this given moment, right? So with you knowing ahead of time, right, you can mitigate this energy as you move into this third quarter here. This is the end of summer, July, August, September. You can mitigate this by making sure you're resting, not overworking yourself, and really taking care of all your bits and pieces, making sure you're financially stable, making sure you're getting plenty of rest, and taking care of yourself and others, right? So that way you don't fall into that Five of Pentacles energy. You have a lot of momentum here, right, in the second quarter. So if you progress this, if you spread it out more, right, if you marathon it out instead of full on sprint in your second quarter, if you don't sprint it out, you marathon it a bit, you can stretch this and kind of ride this third quarter energy by not overworking yourself, right? So drinking plenty of water, eating plenty of food, getting plenty of rest as you're in this big momentum energy in the second quarter, and then you can stretch it out and potentially avoid this whole energy at all. So that's just something to keep in mind, right? So we just want to make sure that we are not overdoing it. So if we use our bee energy in the proper way here, right, if we move steadily and thoughtfully and consciously through this process, we can actually make sure we don't end up in this kind of Five of Pentacles energy here. So we don't end up as worried. We can make sure that our tasks end up being complete, because we feel pretty sensitive. We feel pretty overworked potentially at this point if we don't manage ourselves very thoughtfully and very intentionally, right? You have to be pretty disciplined for how you handle yourself in order for you not to burn out as you move into that last quarter, okay? Let's see, anything else here for our third quarter energy though? Yeah, with our Five of Pentacles here, right? So it's talking about worry and illness and loss and fear, lots of fear and worry in this card, right? So I think, and we want to avoid that, especially with that illness, right? That illness piece, we don't want to fall sick. We don't want to overwork ourselves, right? And so we need to just make sure, really make sure to not overdo things, right? So again, that bee energy calls for us to be thoughtful for how we work and diligent, and again, making sure we kind of, with us knowing this ahead of time, right? And I say we as in me and you, you and I, in this case, since I am part of this reading as well for being a Virgo Sun and Rising, we can look at our second quarter here with this big realization and all this momentum and energy we have and just spread it out better, right? So that way we don't exhaust ourselves as we're kind of going into our birthday season here, right? So our third quarter is our birthday season. We don't want to come into our birthday being exhausted and feeling sick and tired and overworked and and completely like at a loss in our lives because we just worked ourselves to death, right? So we have the opportunity to change it and get ahead of it, and work ourselves more thoughtfully before we even hit this point. That's the beauty of free will. That's why I like it so much. So again, just the energy presently, what we're kind of seeing based on how this progresses. So, but we can move into our last quarter here, avoiding most of this energy, or at least pushing it so we don't get as bad. We might still end up with this energy, but we can mitigate it so it doesn't hurt us as much and be as intense as what the cards are portraying, right? So the cards, we still might fall into this situation, but it might not be as bad as how I'm describing it off the bat, because this is just what the cards are telling me, right? So let us move into our last quarter here and see how this finishes out for us for 2022. Okay, Wild Unknown, please give me the last quarter card for Virgo for 2022. Last quarter, please. Almost. Thank you. Hanged Man in reverse. Okay. And then clarification, please, on the Hanged Man for fourth quarter for Virgo in 2022. Clarification on the Hanged Man in reverse, please. Thank you. The Earthworm. So Virgo, for our last quarter here, second half of the year for us is definitely going to be a little bit more of a struggle than the beginning of the year, right? So we're told from the beginning, right, with our kind of siren card, to make sure that we are not possessive of the situation we're in. But it feels like by the time we kind of get to the end of the year that we have flipped too much the other way. We went from one extreme to the other, kind of pendulumed it, right? So our Hanged Man is talking about not letting go, having being too attached. At the same time, it's like it's a lack of commitment, just kind of flying off willy-nilly. We're very the Earthworm energy is a very shy and hesitant energy, very new and just kind of moving through the ground. We don't feel very confident in what we're doing here, so we kind of come into a stumbling block here, that we are overthinking. I know as a Virgo we tend to do that a lot, right? We overthink, we're analyzing every little detail in our situation here, right? But that in this case does not serve us, and we kind of see it we had such a good second quarter here, right? And then we're kind of stumbling and worrying too much and overworking ourselves, and that kind of leads us into this last bit here. I firmly believe with that free will that we have, we can change these situations towards the end, and this will end up looking completely differently if we are very intent and focused on how to progress better through our year, right? So again, we know this ahead of time. This is just what we are looking at currently, but we are not kind of trusting our intuition here, right? We are kind of getting into our victim mentality. We got lost along the way, right? So we can't see in the ground here, or feel like we're completely in the dark because we don't even have the echolocation that a bat might have. But that's why we're trying to follow the siren song here, right? We're trying to follow it through. But we overdid it at some point here, and we kind of ended up in this energy at the end of the year. So it could be that we feel like we missed an opportunity, like we had this opportunity, we were working, but we missed something along the way here. So we're not letting go, or we feel like we should be further along than we are. That's kind of that Earthworm energy, right? That novice energy, that newbie energy. And nobody starts out as a expert in their field, like almost nobody. Like there's people that have natural talent for things, but nobody starts out as a master and expert in any field. Everybody has to start new in something. Everybody does start new at something because we are born into this world, and we have to learn how to talk, walk, crawl, interact with people, make friends, all these pieces, right? You're constantly learning new things as you grow up, and as adults, you want to keep up that energy with this kind of Earthworm here, right? But we get called to, like, with a missed opportunity here, right? So we listened to the song here, but we weren't willing to make the choices, do the hard work maybe that we needed to, or make the sacrifices we needed to. We tried to overwork in another way, work around the situation. That's how we ended up exhausting ourselves, right? And then we lost the situation either way because we weren't willing in the right place to make the proper sacrifices that we knew we needed to, right? And that's how that kind of progressed. So for the imagery of the siren, right, in our theme of the year, we have this idea of, like, you think of a siren like a mermaid or something in the ocean, right, and those sailors jumping in after them, following that siren down into the depths. But along the way, we have to figure out how to swim. Maybe we change and learn how to breathe underwater, right, or we come back up out of the water, but the boat's gone, right? So we have to find our way to shore. So there's a process here, a full journey, where we're following this temptation, learning a lot about ourselves along the way through this whole process. But in the end, we have to figure out we're going to lose something. We're going to have to sacrifice something. We're going to have to figure something out here deep inside ourselves in order to get back to dry land at the end, right? So there's going to be a lot of courage needed here, a lot of energy and time, and a lot of deep focus, right? So it's like the sooner we follow the siren song, dive in, figure out what we're trying to figure out, what it's calling to us, what we need to know, the sooner we can work our way back into dry land and apply what we've learned in the process here. There's a lot of different kind of energies going through the year, Virgo. This is not as cut and dry as I've seen for some of the other zodiac signs. Where this is the 6th one I've done, so I've been going in order, right? So for half of the readings I've done so far, this is a very different energy than other ones I've had, and not as clear and cut and dry. We have a lot of different cards here. So we have a water card, we have an air card, we have 2 earth cards. We've got, let's see, got a major arcana here. We've got 2 pentacles, 4 and 5, and then the wand. So not like a lot of consistent energy as we're moving through, right? It doesn't quite flow, but there's a lot of mirroring aspect here. We see that in the beginning for sure, lots of energy and then some stumbling here. So it feels like at any point I could like flip all these cards around, kind of shuffle them all, and it all feels like it's kind of happening at once, which is an interesting feeling, right? So it's this, the only tie is kind of the siren song moving through the whole point, right? Because we're going to hear the siren call either way. It's just a matter of whether or not we're trying to resist it, trying not to jump off the ship into the ocean, into the depths, by tying ourselves to a rock or the ship mast or something, getting tied down or having somebody hold us down because we're trying to resist this call, which won't work. First off, it's not going to work. So if we don't resist the call, we have to figure out how to progress and learn and figure out from there, right? So it's going to be a very interesting year for us Virgos. I'm curious, let me know in the comments down below how your year progresses and how this matches up for you. I'll be curious to kind of look at it too as I go through my year for whether it's like which ties in, if it's going to be the sun sign more here for Virgo for me or my Cancer moon more. So let's see how this progresses. So I hope it ends up making sense for us, Virgo. That's all I have for us today. So please like, comment, subscribe down below if you've enjoyed this reading. Again, leave me some comments down below as you're kind of going through your year. Let me know how this pans out. It's very interesting energy, so I'm curious what the siren call is for everybody else. I think I have an idea what it is for me. But that is all I have for you today, Virgo. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and a good 2022, and I'll see you next time. Bye.